like I was forever, but spoke like love was just for now. You smiled in shades of maybe while I was learning how. I gave you all my open skies. You gave me days in borrowed time. You wore my name like second skin, but left no trace within. I should have seen it from the start. You gave me someone else's heart. You loved me with a borrowed heart. One foot close, the other apart. You lit a flame you didn't keep, left me dreaming in too deep. I held your truth, you played the part, but it was never yours to start. You loved me with a borrowed heart. I waited in your silence, thinking time would make it clear. But now I know the echoes weren't meant for me to hear. You touched like someone half awake, a promise too afraid to make. And I was just the in-between of what you were and might have been. You stayed just long enough to hurt, and ran before it could revert. You loved me with a borrowed heart, like I was written, not real, just art. I gave you roots, you gave me air, a little love you didn't spare. I built a home, you built a heart that always knew it wouldn't start. You loved me with a borrowed heart. Chest is louder where you never guessed. I'm healing from the way you stay, without the will to ever stay. You love me with a borrowed heart, left your name like a fading mark. I thought you were the end of pain, but you just passed like summer rain. I gave you real, you gave me smart, a love that left before it started. You loved me with a borrowed heart, and I returned it, broken, torn apart. We met like strangers meant to break, shared a smile we couldn't fake. You held my name like it was glass, and left it in the aftermath. Some souls aren't built to stay, just passing through the ache and gray. We were hearts that pass, like shadows in the glass. We touched the edge and let it fade, too scared of what we couldn't name. Not a flame, not a crash, just a quiet kind of ash. We were never meant to last, just hearts, hearts that pass. You spoke like someone out of time. I listened close between the lines. There was a moment we both knew, but neither stayed to see it through. Some love is just a fleeting beat, a rhythm lost beneath the street. We were hearts that pass, too tender, too fast, the kind that leave without a scar, but still remember who we are. Not a fight, not a flame, just a ghost without a name. We were in future, we were in past. Just hearts, hearts that pass. Maybe in another life we hold on through the quiet strife, but in this one we just slipped through fingers fate never whipped. We were hearts that passed, a love that didn't ask. We didn't break, we didn't stay, we simply drifted far away. Like a whisper in a glass, too soft, too slow to last. We were nothing deep or vast, just hearts, hearts that passed. Yeah, we were hearts, hearts that passed. To trace your name and ring, believe in love through every pain. You were the song I used to sing, now you're just a silent string. I gave my all, I gave it raw, but love like that can learn to thaw. I loved in past tense, with every breath, no self-defense. You were mine, now my end to end, until you and change the end. I spoke in us, you chose a part, left me rewriting every part. I loved you deep, with no pretense, but now I love in past tense. I walked through fire, stayed through doubt, believed in you when you checked out. I held your storms, I kissed your war, but you were reaching for a door. You said forever like a phase, then watched us vanish into haze. I loved in past tense, like pages burned with no difference. You wrote me out without goodbye, left me learning how to cry. I whispered stay, you chose the fence, now I bleed love in past tense. Was only meant to break me through. You were a lesson dressed as fate, a chapter that arrived too late. I loved in past tense, a flame that time could not condense. You were my dream, I had to wake, the vow I gave you just to break. I gave you more than common sense, now I just live in past tense. I used to love you in every line, now you're just a ghost between mine. I loved you once and left it behind. In the past tense, I walked through fire, stayed through doubt, believed in you when you checked out. I held your storms, I kissed your war, but you were reaching for a door. You said forever like a face, then watched us vanish into haze. I loved in past tense, like pages burned with no difference. You wrote me out without goodbye, left me learning how to cry. I whispered stay, you chose the fence, now I bleed love in past tense. And maybe love that feels this true was only meant to break me through. You were a lesson dressed as fate, a chapter that arrived. I wore the dress, I lit the flame, waited for someone to say my name. I stood in rooms that felt like ice, with empty hands and sacrifice. Every touch was sacrifice, every touch was almost real, but never told me how to feel. I was kissed by no one, loved in lines but not in motion, heard the words but not the heart, felt the start but not the spark. I gave my soul to the unknown, still went to bed completely alone. I was kissed by no one. They looked but never saw my truth, said sweet things but left no proof. Their lips were near but far away, like shadows that forget to stay. I faked the smile, I played the part, but no one ever touched my heart. I was kissed by no one, a name they spoke but never hung on. Their hands were warm, their eyes were dim. I learned to drown and call it swim. No fire lit, no thunder rolled, just quiet dreams I couldn't hold. I was kissed by no one. Maybe love was just a myth, a fairy tale I once danced with. Or maybe I was too unseen to fit inside someone's dream. I was kissed by no one, a fading star still waiting for sun. I gave my all to empty it, hoping someone would be there. Now I just walk through days half done, a heart untouched by anyone. I was kissed by no one, still waiting in the quiet moonlight to be kissed by someone. You used to speak without a sound, your eyes would pull me off the ground. But lately every word feels strained, like love's a house we can't maintain. You say you're here but not the same, and every silence speaks your name. I got lost in your paws, in the breath between the cause of what we were and what we've been. The space too wide to love within. You didn't leave, you didn't stay, but something real just slipped away. Now I'm breaking without a cry, just lost in your arms. We used to talk with just one glance, now even touch feels like a chance. You're in the room but out of reach, and every kiss forgets to teach. You hold me close but not for real, a ghost of what we used to feel. I got lost in your paws where nothing moves and no one draws the line between a heart and lie, between goodbye and wondering why. You didn't run, you didn't fight, you just turned down the quiet light and left me counting every loss. Still lost in your paws. like words we never wrote, while I still float and float and float. I got lost in your paws, in the stillness love never thaws. You looked at me with empty eyes and left me buried undersized. No final word, no shattered glass, just love that slipped and couldn't last. It didn't break me, but because you left me lost, lost in your paws. Now this pause is all we are. It left me lost. And now this pause is all we are. And now this pause is all we are. When past the edge of something real, but pulled away before we'd feel. You touched my hand and looked away, like love was just a word to say. We danced around what we could be, but feels louder than we. We were only almost, a heartbeat close, a shadow ghost. We nearly lit a burning flame, but never dared to speak its name. You were my might of almost known, a place I reached but not my own. We were close, but only almost. I saw forever in your eyes. You saw escape dressed in disguise. We shared a night, not a sunrise. Built a love that never tried. Now every memory feels like it's still there, but never truly there. We were only almost, the kind that time forgets the most. Always the lost in louder days. I'm now without the final place. You were the question left unread, a song that stopped before it bled. We were more, but only almost. We were only almost. Maybe in some other life you'd choose to stay. I'd drop the knife, but in this one we let it slip from trembling hands and tight lips. We were only almost. We were only almost. Not quite love, not fully ghost. We nearly lived what hearts could write, but dimmed it down before the light. Now you're the line I can't recite, the dream we face before the night. We were real, but only almost. Only almost. And never enough. And never enough. Enough, but never enough. We said forever with our eyes, but spoken half, believing lies. You held my hand like like you weren't sure. I loved you loud, you loved unsure. We built a fire, we couldn't stay, and watched it fade, then walked away. This was our almost always, a love too soft for always. We almost made it through the storm, almost made forever worn. But almost isn't made to last, it only lives inside the past. You were my nearly, my halfway light. Our almost always never felt right. We danced around the words we fear, left every answer unclear. You kissed like someone on the run, and I stayed hoping you'd become one. Holding on with shaky hands, can't build a house on shifting sand. This was our almost always, the kind that almost sways. We stood so close to being real, but never let each other heal. We wrote our names in open skies, but never learned how love survives. You were the ending I never rewrote. Our almost always sang the boat. I still wonder what we missed between the silence and the kiss. This was our almost always, now it's just empty hallways, where laughter used to echo deep, and dreams were ours before the sleep. I still wear your maybe in my mind, but almost love is never kind. We weren't forever, but we were close. Our almost always hurts the most. Yeah. Never ours. With every glance, now silence holds our circumstance. You're still here, but not quite near. A love that whispers through the fear. No screaming fights, no slam goodbyes, just empty space beneath our eyes. This is the quiet us, where hearts still beat but don't discuss, where hands still touch but feel the frost, where nothing's said but something's lost. We didn't fall, we didn't break, we just forgot what love should take. And now it lingers without fuss, this echo we call the quiet us. We share the bed but not the dream, pretend we're whole but split at seams. I still make coffee just your way, but you just sip with none to say. We talk in sighs and glances thin, as if afraid to let truth in. This is the quiet us, where time still moves but not for us, where hands still touch but feel the frost, where nothing's said but something's lost. We didn't fall, we didn't break, we just forgot what love should take. and now it lingers without fuss. This echo we call the quiet us. Maybe words could save the flame, but both of us forgot its name. We breathe in rooms once lit by fire, now only dust and lost as are. This is the quiet us, a ghost of love we still entrust to memories that dimly glow in spaces neither wants to show. We're side by side but far enough to feel alone when things get tough. No storm, no scream, just broken trust in what's left behind. The quiet us. So here we are, no need to fuss, two hearts still beating in the quiet us. You said you'd stay and I believe, wrote your promises on my sleeve. You looked at me like I was home, but left me learning how to be alone. You loved me loud, then went so still. Now I'm the echo you won't feel. You loved me until you didn't. Held me close then disappeared, and then you made forever feel so near, then faded out like I wasn't here. You gave your heart like it was written until you didn't. We built a world in borrowed time, hung our hopes on every rhyme. You kissed like truth, you breathed like fate, but love turned cold behind the gate. No storm, no fight, no last goodbye, just silence where you used to lie. You loved me until you didn't. Held me close, then disappeared, and then you made forever feel so near, then faded out like I wasn't here. You gave your heart like it was written until you didn't. With the words you'll never say folded beneath the tears I'll shed, and every night I ask the sky, how does love forget to try? You loved me until you didn't. You loved me until you didn't. Whispered dreams and disappeared in it. You held my name like sacred ground. Now it's just dust, you don't turn around. You swore we rise, but we just didn't. You loved me until you didn't. Yeah, you loved me until you didn't. We built a world in borrowed time, hung our hopes on every rhyme. You kissed like truth, you breathed like fate, but love turned cold behind the gate. But love turned cold behind the glamour gate. Now it's just dust, you don't turn around. You swore we rise, but we just didn't. You loved me until you didn't. Yeah, you loved me until you didn't. I smelled in rooms you used to fill, but all the light had turned so still. I spoke to walls, they knew your name, but answers never sounded the same. You were there, but not in reach, a silent wave upon the beach. When you weren't, I felt the weight of sky. Heard your silence multiply. Every laugh became alive. When you won, the world moved on, but I stood still. Trapped in love you couldn't feel, and I broke where you used to heal. When you were, when you were, I kept your side of the bed untouched, pretending absence wasn't much. But every hour screamed your name, and every second cursed the same. You faded slow without goodbye, left your ghost behind my eyes. When you weren't, the clock stopped ticking where you'd sleep. Your promises sank far too deep, and I forgot how much to weep. When you weren't, the stars fell out, the sky turned gray. I break the night to make you stay, but even prayers got lost halfway. When you were, when you were, and maybe love was always you, but you were gone before I knew that presence isn't just a face, it's being there inside the space. When you were, I learned to love the quiet pain, to wear your loss like falling rain, to say your name and not explain. When you weren't, I built a world you never knew, out of the pieces left by you, and I still live between the two. And when you were, yeah, I'm still there. When you were, when you weren't, and when